What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you are well, warm, kicking it fly because, well, it's Monday. And in fact, it's a long Monday or a long weekend, May long here. I don't know about you guys in America, but it feels great to be in Canada today. Happy May long Monday. And there's no snow. But that reminds me, recently we had the power go out over here, which kind of left us scrambling. And I know that many of us who have a garden fear of losing the power mid-cycle. So I kind of just wanted to have a brief discussion on things that you can do when the power goes out to try to save your garden, because gardening with the lights out isn't as easy as you'd think. But let's assume you're sitting at home, all of a sudden the power goes out. What are some things that you could do to try to maintain and save your garden? Well, the first thing is if you've got a generator, now's the time to pull it up. Get it started, make sure you got a good solid supply of fuel, and get that garden running. Many of us, though, don't have generators. And in fact, generators will only last for so long as you have a fuel supply. With that being said, if you don't have a generator, some steps that you can take to ensure that your garden keeps growing even in a power outage are things that may include taking your plants out of the tent. I grow in 2 tents, 4x4 styles. If a power outage happens and they're not scrogged in and attached to the tent in any way, those plants are going to come out. I'm actually going to take the plants out of the tent and I'm going to take them upstairs and put them in front of the window, big bay window, hopefully allow some of that sunlight in so that they can still take in some of that light and that they don't fall asleep. This is going to happen until the lights come back on. You know, it's a lot easier to prepare or simulate darkness than it is to simulate light with no power on. So keep that in mind. Before I go any farther, I want to give a huge shout out to AC Infinity. AC Infinity is a sponsor of this channel, and when the power is on, they've got my back. They recently dropped a 15-liter humidifier, and this thing is the cat's patootie. It's so much larger than the smaller one, which means I'm not filling it every day, and this is an absolute blessing in my garden. If you want to hit this up, want to hit up anything over on acinfinity.com, use promo code PIGEONS420. You'll save a few dollars off at checkout and help support the show. The next thing is if you are in, say, colder conditions and the power goes out, you need to keep that root zone warm. I often will take some towels and wrap the pots as much as I can just to keep them insulated just a little bit more. No lights also means no heat, and you want to retain a lot of that heat for as much as you can. If your garden is in an area such as mine where it can get cold, it's in the basement, it's in the corner, consider moving your plants to another area of the home, something that's going to be a little closer to you that might help stay warmer. Now, some people will take a more extreme approach to trying to save their plants. Some people will light candles. They'll put flashlights, use solar lights, whatever it takes to just get some lumens in their tent. That does work. It doesn't provide a lot of light, but it will keep some of those cells active enough so that they won't fall asleep. Personally, I try to use like an LED solar light if I can't get the plants out of the garden. Often I'm scrogging my plants, which means that they are strapped in. They've got a net across them. The flowers have grown through the strings, and it'll be impossible to remove those plants from the tents. So really, it's all about trying to manipulate the area I'm in to try to get the most out of it for the longest time possible. Typically, when the power goes out, you are scrambling. It's a hope to try to solve the situation as fast as possible, but this is a situation that's out of your hands. We're kind of just at the mercy of our power company to just kick this thing back on. So, no matter what, just keep calm. I've been in a situation where we have not had power for multiple days. My plants were left in the darkness for 2 days. Didn't take an effect on them whatsoever. Now, of course, the time in which they're growing is important. You know, if you've got plants in the veg stage, you know, that enhanced or that lengthened dark period might not have a negative effect. You might not have the same circumstances if you're later in flower. That could have an impact. So you might be scrambling to get a few sources of light inside your tent just to keep those plants active. But nonetheless, remember that there are more important things to consider when the power goes out. You know, where's your food supply? Where's your water coming from? Your garden, chances are it's going to be okay. As I mentioned, I've been through power outages that lasted days, and as long as I kept my tents open, so that the water that was retained in the pots doesn't sit there to just mold, if you will. I like to open up my doors, open up my tents, because if there's no air circulation, opening the doors in the tents may be all you have to save your plants. So don't scramble. Remember, open the doors to your tents, your rooms, wrap up your plants, possibly put a small source of light in there, but nonetheless, chances are these plants are resilient. They're going to be just fine regardless of the dark period. Just hunker in, keep safe, and remember, keep growing on. Guys, don't forget, you're awesome. I appreciate you for watching. Much love. Stay medicated, eh? Because guess what? Life's better that way.